Hello, how's it going? YouTube, everyone, the world, how are y'all doing today? So, today we're talking just a recap of everything that's been going on with, readjust this a little bit, God of War PS5, God of War 5, God of War Ragnarok. We don't really have a title even. I mean, it's supposed to be God of War Ragnarok, but we're going to be talking about its delay, its cross platform and everything. So I thought I'd use this article as a nice little segue into everything because it kind of explains a lot of worries and things I've been thinking about, things I've kind of that would have come up maybe right around the release of the PS5, but we're going to talk about some of this stuff. So the article I'm talking about is here on metro.co.uk, and it is why God of War PS Ragnarok on PS4 made me sell my PS5. This is uh, this title, if this is not an actual like clickbaity title, it's very stupid. Um, to rage sell your PS5 because a game is coming out for cross-platform. You should be worried about it, sure, but so the gist of it is really you can go and read the full article. It's really around. Let me come over here so I can highlight some of this. Um, Cross-gen games. No, I think it was right up here when they're talking about, yeah. So it's right here. So if they want to make a new game mechanic based around the SSD, they can't. Then no, they can't do it because PlayStation 4 hasn't got one. They want to do something based around ray tracing, reflections for a puzzle, distinctive looks, certain characters. Then nope, can't do it. Not unless you make two separate games. And this person goes on and on about wasting their time about doing that. They're concerned about Gran Turismo 5. Um, So there are a lot of concerns going going into this. I understand why people are a little worried about it, but I'm going to be debunking some of this stuff using some actual examples that we have. I'm not going to be showing much, so I'm just going to kind of be having this here if you guys want to read it along. This is really the meat and potatoes of it here, other than this little bit here, because this person's just talking about Gran Turismo 7, yada yada yada. So, if we look at the PlayStation games that have come out, one of their things that they say is third-party games doesn't like they don't look good. Ones that are cross-platform, available on a PS4, PS5, and Series S and X, and on the One. But that's not the same thing that's going on here. What this really is, let me. There we go. Now I'm in frame. What this would be comparing it to would be comparing it more to akin of Spider-Man. To be comparing it to what we'll have in a couple of days, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Ratchet and Clank, I don't, I'm not I haven't been following up on that, so I don't know if it's a PS5 exclusive or it's also going to be on PS4, or if it's a limited PS5 release, or it's going to be eventually on there. But those, like Spider-Man Remastered, Final Fantasy VII Remake, these are the games that will be showing what really could go on. Those and the PS4 games that we already have. So they're talking about how they're really mad that it's going to be essentially a glorified remake, which isn't really true. The the thing is here is if the game was made for the PS5 or PS4 and they're upscaling things for the PS5, it'll take some time to probably have them so that either delay the launch a little bit or it'll just come out at a later date of an update patch. Grand Theft Auto 5 still hasn't come out as an update patch. Cyberpunk 2077 update patch. These games are examples of that. Games that weren't made for these systems particularly. And then they have to have some magic on the side to get it out and working with all of the clear upgrades and everything. But that's not what this is going to be. This is more akin to Horizon Forbidden West. Um, yes, I am also worried about that game and the way that it's going to be playing. Will it be bogged down? Yes, but I would be more concerned as a PS4 user how that's going to be playing that game on my really older hardware versus a PS5 user not feeling that that game's going to be next gen or have that feeling of next gen. So we're going to use the case of Spider-Man Remaster. Spider-Man Remaster was a complete overhaul of a lot of scenes, um, the adding of ray tracing, yes, was a big deal, but it's really like if you go back to and go watch Digital Foundry's video on Spider-Man Remaster, they do a great one. That's where you can really see whether or not this is going to hold any validity. And as we look there, the main things that go on there are they show. Well, I'll switch this because now anybody who wanted to can go pause or rewind to read that. The thing is they remade a lot of stuff. Some character models got touch ups, higher textures, the frame rate boost. So in that case, will it feel like a remaster? Well, if I look at something like Kingdom Hearts when they came to PS3 and PS4, I mean, yeah, they did have a frame boost, higher textures, faster loading times. Sure, if that's your akin to like those are also the things that a PS5 is offering. So if you look at something like Ghost of Tsushima, yeah, Ghost of Tsushima does have is available on PS4 and on PS5, but on PS5 it's a different experience. The loading time is significantly better. For checkpoints and stuff and fast travel, it's almost instantaneous. The textures are much better. It's a locked 60 frames. Horizon Zero Dawn, I've gone through and I'm playing the DLC right now on PS5. It is a much better experience. I can't wait to do an e-game plus of it. I'm not going to be getting it for PC. I'm not going to be spending the money on it because it's totally fine at 60 frames per second, essentially essentially locked 60, no issues, looks a lot better, and loads a ton faster. That's why I bought a PS5. You know, that's the selling point of Returnal. Returnal looks great. Returnal has essentially no loading screens. Its loading screen is like a quick white screen to load a completely new map that could, if you spend the entire, if you spend search the entirety of that map, could take you up to 2 hours. That's a big deal for it to have multiple maps on that level. So to say like this here, this stuff about if they wanted to do a new game mechanic around the SSD, then no, they can't. Well, they can because the mechanic would just not load as quickly. There would be a loading screen on the PS4. It's not like they can't do a loading mechanic. For Final Fantasy VII Remake, the loading is nigh instantaneous. Now, we'll have to get it in our hands to actually see if that was horseshit or not. I don't think it was. I really doubt that they would be going through that for, just to show off something that's not there. The textures. The textures aren't yucky. The skyboxes look great. The doors look like doors. They don't look like PS2 doors. The ray tracing. Ray tracing's in Spider-Man Remastered. Yeah, it was a separate title. You had to pay $20 for a remaster, but that's for a game that was already out that they upscaled and did all these things so that you can do that here. That's not the same thing here. This is already being developed while the PlayStation 5's out, and it was already intended to be released on the PlayStation 5. Whether or not it was intended to be released on PS4 already, that you'd have to ask the director and the devs and everything. But to say that they won't be able to do ray tracing, they won't be able to do new mechanics because they're also developing for older hardware, is not necessarily true. Depends on how it's being developed. You'll have to see. Now, if you want this new mechanic where I don't even know what to even say. Like for God of War, for example, it's the one game why I will say it's my game of the generation, and it's Sony's top seller. It's Sony's big seller. That game essentially has no loading screens except death. Because going on the tree of Yggdrasil, you're walking around. Yeah, it looks like a loading screen, but it's an interactive in-game loading screen. The textures look fantastic. So it's not necessarily like that's why this title is so is so childish. Uh, it made me it made you sell your PS5 because you don't like that it's going to be on PS4. The game's not even out yet. You haven't even seen it. You haven't seen a comparison between PS4 and PS5. There could be new features. There could be features that you're just going to have to take time. Maybe the fast travel is instantaneous in Horizon Forbidden West. Maybe on PS4, it's going to take like 40 to 45 seconds, close to a minute. Who knows? You have to wait till it comes out. But to to have a concern, yes, but to have this complete knee-jerk reaction that it's going to be absolutely terrible because it's also going to be on PS4, that's not necessarily the case. And when Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out later this week, June 10th, you'll be able to see, yeah, it actually really doesn't matter as long as they time those releases together. Now, if it's going to be the PS5 version comes out at a different date, yes, that I guess will be a problem. If it's going to be, um, you're just gonna have to wait for Cory Barlog to be talking, because if he actually says we wanted to develop a certain mechanic but we couldn't do it because it was also on PS4, then this can hold some validity. Until then, this is just speculation, nothing more. And to have this type of a knee-jerk reaction to it is, I think, very childish. You can have your concerns. Yes, I have my concerns about Horizon. The gameplay kind of did away with some of that, especially if it's going to be a locked 60. Um, and I don't think that if this game was already being developed to have an instantaneous load, whether it's on death or checkpoints, save file, fast travel, and if this game is also developed, God of War Ragnarok talk about, if this is also developed to have ray tracing in there and have new mechanics based off of that SSD, I I highly doubt that those mechanics are not going to be there because it's also going to be on PS4. What will happen was that stuff will have to be cut in ways, kind of like Cyberpunk, to make it work on the older hardware. That's it. It's not gonna, this is, so everybody calm your fucking tits and your balls and your assholes and everything. This is not something to lose your shit over. I get it. The game is delayed and you wanted it earlier. It was supposed to come out in 2021, and as of May, we had absolutely no game footage of it. That should have been a red flag right there, that it was probably coming out in either December to possibly February or March of next year, or it was just going to be completely delayed till next year to take their time so they don't have something rushed. And I'll guess that it being delayed probably has something to do with it not only being on PS5. The reason I'm saying that is because Sony doesn't have enough PS5s in enough homes and systems. They don't have a readily enough stock that they can just have all these exclusives, and they know that. So it's probably Sony also pulling the plug and going, "Hey, look, you need to delay it because you need to have this also available on PS4." And they know that. They know that this has to be. So if I'm going to hear that like Spider-Man 2 is also going to be available on PS4, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Would I think that it's going to play the same as the PS5 version? No. And I can tell you that from playing Ghost of Tsushima, from playing God of War, Horizon, Spider-Man, playing these games on a PS4 and a PS5, I can tell you there is a huge fucking difference. And the fifth game is going to be Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'll get to know if I play that game on my PS5, is it going to feel like a new experience? Probably will, since the load will be instantaneous. Since it'll have 60 frames per second, it's a double the frame rate with an instantaneous load. That's what you were expecting from the PS5. So if you bought the PS5 to have some other expectation that was going to blow, to have any other expectation besides that is unrealistic, because that's what you're getting with the PS5. It's what you've seen with other PS4 games. It's what you've seen with PS5 games that have come out, what they're going to be promising for the future. That's it. And now that I'm thinking about it, Ratchet and Clank Rift, whatever, is not going to be on PS4 because of its fast travel thing. Yes. Now, do you want something like that in God of War? I highly doubt that anything that was intended already for God of War is not going to be in God of War. That's why this makes me laugh. I highly doubt that anything that was already intended to be there is not going to be excluded because it's going to be on PS4. It's just going to be different. It's going to have a load time. It's going to change something around. That's it. And if I'm wrong, I'll come out here and say that I'm wrong. I'll be the first one to be like, hey, you know what? I was wrong. I put faith in them because they did an outstanding job the first time and didn't pull through. But as the people who already made God of War something that did not look like it was playing on a hard drive when you get to the Yggdrasil tree and everything. I can't say the name, so uh, you know, it's going to be fine. It's going to be absolutely fine. And you can lose your minds when you see gameplay and you hear more stuff of it and it doesn't live up to your expectations. But right now, it's still just an it has nothing. We don't even have a trailer with in-game CGI, or we don't have any gameplay footage. We don't have anything. So to make your assumptions about it is about as stupid as what I'm saying. This is also speculation. I could be completely wrong, like I said, and I'll come out and say it. But we'll have to see when we actually see shit from it. So let's calm the fuck down. And let's not harass Santa Monica Studios. Let's not harass Cory Barlog. Because it's not going to do anything but piss them off. And that's it. It's not going to make the game come faster. It's not going to make them change anything. If anything, if there are actual features that they want to add for PS5 that they don't have the time to because they're also developing it to work on a PS4, that will be updated in what's called a patch, like every other fucking game has been getting. So let's wait, let's calm down, okay? Everyone, talk down in the comments, be respectful, don't go jumping down everybody's fucking throats. It's going to be fine, okay? And this person should just be lucky enough that you have a PS5. You should be grateful for that. You have something that millions upon millions of PlayStation users don't have and want. If it was available in stores, they'd go and get it tomorrow. So calm the hell down, stop being a spoiled brat, and relax. It's going to be fine. It's up to the developers. I can't say the same thing for every other game in Gran Turismo 7 like they're complaining about here, because that's up to them. But Santa Monica Studios and Cory Barlog proved themselves with God of War that did an outstanding job with the hardware it was already given. It's going to be fine. I also played God of War the first time on a base PS4. It played great. It's fine. It's fine. Okay? It loads fast. It loaded faster than Horizon. It loaded faster than Spider-Man. It loaded faster than, maybe it didn't load faster than Spider-Man's subway scenes. It's going to be fine, everyone. So let's just relax. Have a good one. All right. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay. But in the meantime, just don't harass Santa Monica Studios or Cory Barlog or Sony, and relax. If anything, you should be on Sony's ass to get out more systems, which I'm sure they're trying because they want more systems out to get out more exclusives. My bad. I thought I was also done, but I was not. I wanted to address, because if I didn't address everything in the article, I don't want anybody coming in the comments and saying that I don't really know what's going on or whatever. This person also talked about Returnal not feeling like a PlayStation 5 game other than the load times, which if you played Returnal, yeah, the load time's big. It's really big. The amount of particles that can actually be on the screen at once is big. The textures are big. It looks great. The levels, you could not accomplish the second level of Returnal on a PlayStation 4. The sheer scale of it, that you can just traverse the entire thing and it's already loaded right then and there. That's part of the SSD, but that has to be made there. It's not just the loading times. It's the scale of what is there. The SSD does more than that. So I wanted to address that, and to also point out that I also said that this person was being very childish in their take of all this. Well, I did miss this part here, that they never got rid of their PS4, so they'll probably sell their PS5 at a profit. Um, Anybody that's a decent human being would not try to rage sell their PS5 at a profit to another person who doesn't have it just because they got pissy with that. So I want to reiterate again, this person, um, Ashton Marley, is a child. You're childish. Uh, grow the fuck up. This is very. You're just throwing a temper tantrum and spewing false information. I played Returnal. I love Returnal. It's frustrating as fuck. I love Returnal. It looks good. It looks very good. It looks better than Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah. Will it look better than Final Fantasy VII Remake on PS5? I'll have to see. That's all. Will it look better than Intergrade, which is the DLC portion that's on there? I will have to see on June 10th. But the game could not have been developed for the PS4 because of the way the levels are. Not the loading times, you idiot, because that's not how SSDs only work. It's the scale of the level cannot be loaded in that entirety. Um, that's all I have to say about that. I don't know where I'll cut this in the beginning and the end or whatever, but I wanted to say that so that I addressed everything that was here, and yeah, I wanted to get off my chest about this temper tantrum throwing child here.